Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I've actually done anything on this channel. I know I said I was going to do BK3, which I will get back to. I'm in stage 4 right now. So I will get
Stop recording checkbox chat.
I will get back to that eventually. But today I thought I would record a Entombed playthrough. Now, for those of you who follow this channel, you might be asking, well, why are you doing an Entombed playthrough again? Well, I recorded this previously, and I didn't like the way it turned out because there was one section that didn't record. I was having some technical issues. I had somebody with me when I was recording, and for some reason the recording didn't record like I thought it did. What ended up happening is I started recording, and I thought I had hit stop recording a long time ago. After I ended the recording, I thought I had hit stop recording, but apparently I hadn't, and so it recorded for literally a couple of hours after I had thought I stopped the recording. I had a couple of hours of recording after that, and so I didn't want to submit that because it would be a huge file. But today I have someone with me again. He is one of my friends, and his name's Blind Gamer, who agreed to be part of this.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and other individual alien species. My name is Blind Gamer. I am one of Brent's close friends. I've been on the channel before once with regards to something that we covered. It was basically a talking video, so nothing gaming.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be on this because we both really loved this game, and we both have our own personal things to say about it. And now that we got audio stuff figured out, I can actually hear what he's doing, so I'm excited to be on.
So you won't be bored to death.
Host for inviting me up here.
Yeah.
Yup. So I'll actually get some audio instead of, oh, he did that many damage. How much damage? Do I have to go back in the stream and look? Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, so you might remember, for those of you who listened to the Hearthstone, or the video on Hearthstone that we did and other accessibility mods, you might remember him from there, for those of you who did watch it. Speaking of which, before we start Entombed, I do want to say real quick that Blizzard has implemented some accessibility stuff, and they're actively working on the accessibility of Hearthstone, which I think is a really good thing. Which makes me kind of wonder if I should have made that video, but yeah.
I think that you should have, because as much as we talked about Blizzard, we also talked about other companies who we considered liable for that. And I'm really glad that Blizzard has started to implement that into Hearthstone, because I actually play it now, and it's a really fun game.
Yeah.
Now, if Blizzard would have been like, you know what, accessibility sucks, we're not going to do anything at all, then I would not be playing it right now. Let's just be honest. I wouldn't be playing it right now. But they actually have done stuff, because Battlegrounds came out, and I'm not going to get into that because it's not a Hearthstone video.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't play Hearthstone because it's not my thing, but it's not because of the accessibility anymore. That I've gotten past, because Blizzard is actually making an effort, and I think that's really good. But Hearthstone's just not my. It's not my type of game. Which of course everyone doesn't. Everyone has games that aren't their type. So
of course. Granted, there are issues with the game, but I find it to be a fun project. Now, if it's not your game, it's not your game. Obviously, I respect that.
Yeah.
So but what is our game is Entombed, and
which is what we're here for.
The greatest segue of all time.
Yeah. Yes. So, what is Entombed? For those of you who don't know what Entombed is, it is a RPG or role-playing game, as RPG stands for. Basically, you're thrown into the dungeon for committing a some sort of crime, which the game will tell you at the beginning when you first start the game, and it has a little intro story which will explain more. And I think I'll let that intro play to give you an idea of what is actually happening. But Entombed, basically you're thrown into the dungeon with 25 floors, and there are various races and classes you can play as. Some are really good, some are mediocre, and some are very bad.
Now,
so
you don't mind? I actually plan to. What race will you be playing as?
I don't know yet. That's
okay, so whatever race that is, whatever classes, I kind of do want to go over, if you don't mind, that is, because I kind of do want to go over some of it, not like write a whole paragraph on each class.
That's fine.
Give my personal overview of the class.
One of the reasons you're here.
Because there's just so much diversity in the game. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And actually, when we get to the classes, you'll see. There's like a ton of stuff.
There is.
So, I'll be doing that.
Okay. Yeah, this game has a lot of diversity, and despite there are bugs in the game which I will attempt to outline as we may encounter some. None of them are seriously game breaking. I mean, you can reasonably continue the game with these bugs. There is one.
Some of them are kind of fun.
Yeah.
Item bug.
Yeah.
12 million healing potions.
Yeah. Which, if you don't know what we're talking about, we will get there.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know if he wants to demo that. But
I think I probably will. Yeah.
Yeah, you can overstuff your satchel.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. There is one bug which I will get to later on in the game, which is kind of annoying. There's a point in the game where you sometimes can't get quests, and it would affect your score, because the more quests you complete, the higher your score is. It happens more often than not, unfortunately, but sometimes you can. So I'm hoping that this time I will be able to, because
oh, I've never gotten that one before.
You can't get quests on the 11th floor sometimes. Oh,
I know about that one. I just haven't gotten it.
Yeah. Yeah, so on the 11th floor, when you go check for quests, it brings up this error, and you can't get quests. So, but sometimes it works, and sometimes you're able to. This Entombed was one of the first audio games I actually purchased, and that I actually played really in depth, which is why, despite how old it is, this game still has a special place for me, just because I think because of all the randomness
Oh, yes,
and diversity.
I played this game like 12 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had so many memories playing this game. Also known as Drake.
No dungeon.
Freaking fortune teller.
No dungeon is going to be the same. With the exception of course, the bosses in set locations, or in on the bosses on certain floors, but other than that, you never know what kind of weapons or items you're going to get.
Even then, you don't know where they're at, because the map is entirely randomly generated.
Well, this is how random the game is. I remember I found a legendary weapon on the 3rd floor before. And
I found a legendary loincloth on like the 4th floor.
Yeah, of all the things to legendary, that's not...
It kind of sucked, but...
Yeah.
It kind of sucked, but...
Yeah. So, this game is unfortunately not... It's not being actively worked on anymore or developed. There was supposed to be a... There was supposed to have been a sequel to Entombed coming out, which I was really looking forward to, because he had a lot of good stuff planned. There was supposed to be a dungeon creator where you could create your own dungeon and monsters.
Okay, that's just sick.
Yeah. That was one of the things he had planned, and I think online play was discussed. I don't know if he, I don't know whether or not he said he was gonna...
Oh my god, Entombed online play? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be awesome.
But this game really hasn't been updated since, I want to say 2011 was the last update. And I'm running a slightly newer version than...
That's a lot.
Yeah. I'm running a slightly newer version than a lot of you may know about.
I think we're running the same version, because in the earlier version, in the character menu, the jobs menu is like broken.
How is it broken?
You just hit enter on it and nothing happens.
Oh really? I didn't have that. I had never had that happen, but
someone I saw who was playing Entombed had that bug.
Well, the version that's public knowledge...
The job description's kind of...
Yeah. The version that's public knowledge is 1.02K. Well, it's actually 1.02J, but there's a little update patch that you can install, which will update you to 1.02K. The version that I recommend to everyone is 1.05B test, which actually wasn't meant to be a public version. I think it was meant to be more of a test version for people that wanted to test some of the bug fixes, because there are a couple of bug fixes in 1.05B. Mainly, pick locks didn't always work like it was supposed to. Even though you had pick locks at level 5, some locks could not be picked, which wasn't supposed to happen.
That's contradicting.
Yeah. So...
Oh, by the way, I'm also running 1.05B test, so yeah. We got the same version running.
Yeah. That's the one I gave you. And so 1.05B test is what I recommend to everyone. It tends to be a little more stable. And as I said, there are a couple of bug fixes, like the pick locks thing. So, unless there's anything else you want to say before we start, I'm gonna go ahead and start the game and listen to the intro.
Yeah, go ahead. I really have nothing to say.
Okay. Well, let's
Start window.
let's start up this
Into
game
app.
here.
Entombed.
You can still hear this, right?
The legend tells of a city lost beneath the sand.
Yep.
Okay.
Crimson walls adorned with the rarest gems. Polished floors reflected sunlight streaming through open windows. A princess's beauty so complete it inspired the founding of an entire kingdom. But these things led to pride, jealousy, and war. Driftwood Software presents a game by Jason Allen.
Now this is the 25th floor music, and this is one of my favorite tracks in the game.
This is such an amazing track.
Yeah.
Also, I wonder if this is developer's voice.
Came to an end one fateful night. Its conquerors parading survivors around the once
You wonder
great
what?
kingdom before silencing them forever. It is said that the grief of the gods swelled the oceans and rivers with their
Yeah, I love
Channel
this
message
music.
from Prime Minister Steelblade. If this is the developer's
had
voice.
stood for
Channel message from Prime
millennia,
Minister Steelblade. If this is the developer's voice.
No, it's not actually.
That had consumed them.
It actually says in the credits who narrated this.
That was long ago, practically forgotten, until damp passageways were discovered in the craggy foothills lining the ocean. Rumors stirred, and many believed that these led to the Lost Kingdom and its riches. Over the centuries, brave explorers, royalty and peasants alike, all tried to discover the passage's source. As fewer and fewer returned, the ordeal, once considered noble and righteous, twisted to a form of punishment. For those who find themselves here, they will surely perish. The dungeon bends only to the will of the gods, and the gods do not find favor in any soul trespassing on their sacred ground. Rest well, for this night will be your last.
By the way, I think the narrator did a really good job narrating that.
That narrative was great. Also, man,
Welcome to
this
Entombed
game
version 1.05
had a
beta.
great
Visit wiki.blind-games.com for documentation on this version.
and
Main menu. Start new game.
he did not exercise its full potential here. Because that could have been done so well. And I'm not saying it was done, like, the storyline is great. But I'm saying he could have done a lot more with it than he'd already done.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I agree. I think it definitely could have been expanded on. So this is the main menu music for the game. The first option we have
Exit start new game.
is start new game. If you were running the demo, there would be the first option you would see is upgrade Entombed to the full version. Now, back when the game was not free, the demo would let you play 7 floors as well as 5 of the races available.
And like, only a few classes.
Yeah.
The majority were behind a wall. But I paid for it, so...
I did too. I should mention that this game is it's technically free now. What you have to do if you want to upgrade this game, you need to you need to create a new account and then email the developer with your account credentials, and he will unlock the full game for you. Now, I have heard that some people have sent him emails and haven't gotten a response from him, but they have tried logging in a few weeks later, and their game was activated. So I don't know if he's going to respond to you, but you just need to periodically check if your account is activated, because some people never heard from him and their account worked. So
well, at least his customer service is better than some other developers.
yeah.
Exit. Start new game.
What about customer service?
Exit. Start new game.
I said, at least his customer service is better than, you know, some other developers. Spice bread baker.
Indeed.
Load existing. Start new game.
So we have start new game, which I will come back to.
Load existing game.
The next option is load existing game, and this will let you load a game in progress. The game will by default auto save. You can choose what rate it auto saves, so you can choose anywhere from, I believe, 1 to 10 battles, and if you don't want it to auto save, you can turn it off. If you have a lot of items in your inventory, saving and loading tends to take longer, which is why I tend to leave autosaves off, because what happens is if you're in a battle, when you finish the battle and the game's auto-saving, it can take a little while for the game to actually auto-save, which is why you'll notice lag after some battles. That's the game auto-saving itself. But I tend to prefer to manually save. So I don't have this option on right now.
I leave it on because if I didn't leave it off, there were times where, well, I would have been done for. So I just leave it on. I keep it as a precaution of sorts.
That's true. That is true. There's instances where it can be nice, but
I'm talking about like save corruptions and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Save won't load.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I have had instances where, like, I do forget to save a game, and it's been a while, and so when I reload the game, I'm a couple floors behind where I was because I forgot to save. I forgot to save the game, so it is nice for people that might forget to save.
New notification from Microsoft.
Periodically. So.
Read latest news.
Read latest news is the next option. This has not been updated. Because if I hit enter right now.
Entombed version 1.02 released. Check the download page of www.blind-games.com for the direct link. This update adds a large player-run bazaar, a new unlockable card, some new skills, and a lot of bug fixes. Old save games are not compatible with this release. Please finish your games in progress before updating. If you have the full version of Entombed, don't forget to upgrade to the full version again after updating. Thanks and enjoy.
Yeah, so that hasn't been updated in a while. It's a little out of date.
View best adventures worldwide.
This will take you to the online scoreboards where you can view the top 50 scores.
You actually have a few. You have a few entries on there.
I have like 4 or 5. In fact, let me
1 moment, please.
show you.
First, good man's human fighter, warrior, fighter, assassin.
That's not me.
2nd, good man's half elf. 3rd, good man's human. 4th, good man's half. 5th, good man's goblin. 6th, good man's half orc. 7th, Austin's goblin fighter who can hail fire.
Goblin has a
Yeah.
8th, Ryan's Walker's goblin shaman griffic.
Okay, so let's look at this one.
That's a great name, I must say, for a goblin.
Yeah.
Also, why did you play as a goblin shaman? Wasn't that hard? Or did you do a trick?
I did this in hard mode to try and get a better score. I only chose one job, and I did a lot of armor. I did a lot of armor stuff, so it was actually playable. Because goblins are
you destroyed
goblins are hard to play as, which is why you get one of the highest scores if you play as one, because they're really hard to get going, which I'll explain when we get to the races menu.
8. Ryan Walker's goblin shaman griffic.
But if I press enter,
Griffic was a goblin shaman necromancer who was unable to heal the tribal chief's mortal injuries with tongue word and hedgehog innards. Griffic's party wandered the dungeon's halls for 6 years, 2 months, 5 days before somehow escaping to the lower floors. Against all odds, everyone in Griffic's party survived the ordeal.
now what I don't like about this is it doesn't show you the complete adventure details.
It only shows you notable exploits when someone dies.
Yeah. You can
Which
see.
I don't like.
No. You can see these on the website. If you go to blind-games.com and then click online scoreboards, it will show you more information about the adventure there. Even if no one died, it still shows the notable exploits there. So it will show you complete adventure details if you do it that way. And Griphook, by the way, is a goblin from Harry Potter.
Yup.
So.
9. Austin's Fairy. 8. Ryan Walker's goblin shaman griffic.
So that's a demo of this, and there are.
Good man. 50th. Lunat's half elf fighter Grey Wolf.
Yeah, there's 50 here. So, and the best I've ever placed is 8th, which was the score I just showed.
Cancel. View best adventures worldwide. View my best adventures.
Now, if we come in here,
first, Sillet, Dire Bat Healer.
These are view my best adventures.
If you think it's crazy that a dire bat could be a healer, we're gonna explain later when we get to the classes menu.
Yeah, we will. The reason this is a dire bat healer is because all I'll say right now is it got reincarnated as something else, and I chose to keep it there for whatever reason. I don't know why, but
did you do good damage though?
I did okay damage with like physical and magic stuff. Yeah. Plus.
No, I meant like with harm.
Oh, with harm? I think so. It wasn't as good as it could have been, but the other reason I think I chose
what was the original race?
I don't remember.
Sillet was a dire bat healer who was.
I think it might have been a fairy, because I chose healer as this.
Gotcha.
Because the other reason I reincarnated too is because I wanted, so you get better scores depending on what race you are, and as well as some other things which I'll detail.
No wonder that's at the top.
Yeah, so if I look at this...
Sillet was a dire bat healer who was caught healing a vessel against the Queen's wishes. Sillet's party wandered the dungeon's halls for 6 years, 15 days before somehow escaping to the lower floors. Against all odds, everyone in Sillet's party survived the ordeal. Notable exploits. 14 quests completed. Bravely accepted the consequences of every action. Rescued a gnome trickster on the 2nd floor. Defended a town's gates from shore breach. Rescued a human thief on the 5th floor. Cleared the menace guarding the old mine works. Defeated a drake. Freed the souls of the last army. Prevailed in the Hall of Illusions. Discovered the gates of Alessandria. Escaped the dungeon. Handled a total of 7,618 gold coins and finished with a stash of 7,591 still left over. Score 163,686.
Now, the bravely accepted the consequences of every action isn't in every notable exploits list. That is only if you play in hard mode. Which hard mode is a thing I will explain in a little bit.
6. First. Cancel. View my best adventures. View my unlocked key items.
So there are key items in this game which will unlock some races and additional jobs, and these are
Goblin card, Crystal card, Sapphire card, Nature card, Plague card.
So there are
Return to main menu. Goblin card, Crystal card, Sapphire, Nature, Plague card.
There are 5.
Return to
The
main menu.
Goblin card,
Crystal card,
Sapphire card, Nature card, and Plague card. The Goblin card unlocks the Goblin race, which is not available by default.
Return Goblin Crystal card.
Crystal card is for Fortune Teller, which is not a very good job.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah.
Sapphire card.
The Sapphire card, I believe, is for
Sapphire card.
Adventurer.
Adventurer. We'll get to that later too. Nature's for Druid, and
Nature
Plague
Plague
is for
card.
Ratkin.
Yeah. Now, the Plague card you actually have to buy in the
Yes.
Bazaar
We just recently got it.
Well, I've actually had it for a while. I actually found it. I have a lot of old Entombed saves and content on my external hard drive, and I had the race unlocked at one point. I had the race unlocked at one point on another computer, and I didn't realize, but I have a bunch of Entombed stuff backed up, and this is where the play card is where that came from, because I gave you the entombed global dot DAT file,
you did, so I could play
and
this.
that was one of my old entombed global files.
With lightning. We'll also get to
Yeah, that's
We'll get to all these references
Return to
in a
main.
bit.
View my
that's
unlocked.
a lot of damage.
At level 1. Oh, no, actually,
Yeah.
level 5, never mind. Who's my favorite though? No, he was at level 1.
Yeah.
Account make change my preferences.
So now we have changed my preferences. Let's go in here and let me show you what is available.
Background music volume. Background music volume slider 80.
So we have background music volume
90. On music off.
Now, what's interesting about this is, I don't know if you noticed this, but the sliders they're weird because 100 is off and 0 is actually full volume,
90.
which I find a little bit weird, because if I start
80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90.
that's actually
Music off.
down.
90.
So 0 is full volume and 100 is off.
On music off. 90, 80.
I'll leave it right about there.
Voice synthesis volume. Lexi has logged in. Lexi.
So
Background voice synthesis volume.
let me.
Exit NVDA voice synthesis volume. Northwind volume.
So we
Voice
have
synthesis volume.
voice.
Background music volume.
Actually-
Save preferences. Reset
Hold on.
checkbox. Autosave. Change voice sounds volume. Door volume. West wind. East wind. South north voice synthesis. Background music volume.
So
Save preferences.
after background music
Reset
volume,
default values. Cancel. Change account. Make change my background music volume. Save preferences. Reset to default value. Checkbox. Skip intro. Autosave rate. Set this to 0. Change speech and change language. Change current voice synthesis rate. Sounds volume. More volume. West wind volume. East wind. South north wind. Voice background music volume. Save preferences.
we have save
Reset to
preferences,
default values.
reset to default values, which will reset everything to its default.
Checkbox. Skip intro. No.
This is, you can check this if you want to skip the introduction that plays at the beginning of the game.
Autosave rate. Set this to 0 to disable autosaves. Any other number to set an autosave to occur after that many battles. Autosaves disabled.
Okay.
Change speech engine. You have Microsoft Speech API selected.
So right now I'm using Sappy, but we also have,
You have JAWS for Windows selected. The engine. You have Window I selected. The engine will be changed when preferences are saved. You have System Access selected. The engine will be changed when preferences are saved. You have Microsoft Speech API selected. The engine will be.
So those are the available speech methods. Now, this game can technically be played with NVDA if you download a, I think it's called System Access to NVDA.
It can also be played by using NVDA SAPI.
Yeah.
But
But
that's what I use.
The System Access to NVDA driver basically makes the game think that anything that uses System Access is actually using NVDA, and so, or I should say, anything that's using NVDA is actually uses System Access, and so that's how you can play it. And there is, as
Lexi left channel root. Lexi has logged out.
As
Lexi left
Blind
channel
Gamer
root.
said,
Lexi has logged out.
there is a another way you can play it.
It's something called NVDA SAPI.
Change combo module.
It's basically some direct link libraries that do stuff.
Yeah.
And it
Combo
works,
English,
because I
English
play
language.
Untitled with NVDA, no problem. But,
Change current voice synthesis rate.
So, voice synthesis rate.
This is the new rate. This is the new rate.
Again, I think these sliders are a
This
bit.
is the new rate. This is the new rate. This is the new rate.
I think these sliders are a bit weird because 0 is fastest and 100 is slowest.
Slider 0. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10.
So this is a sound volume. What I should mention is something that I've always found a little odd. When you download this game, the sounds are going to be turned all the way down, so you'll have to actually turn them up. Otherwise you won't hear any sounds. I found that interesting, since this is an audio game, and you would think that these sounds would be up by default.
Slider 19.
So this is a bunch of wind volume.
Slider 19. Slider 19. Slider 19.
These are sounds you'll hear in the dungeon as you're navigating.
Slider 19. Voice synthesis volume. This is the new volume. This is the new volume. Background music volume slider 80.
Okay, and we're back to background music. So I'm gonna get out of that.
Maintenance.
Account maintenance is what you will hear, or where you can go to reset your password or change your password. If you forgot your password, you can have it reset. Now that's one bug. As you can probably hear, the wind and door sounds are playing, even though I exited the preferences menu.
Exit.
And we have exit. So I'm going to exit this and restart it, since
Level 1 and 2. App.
we have
Entombed.
wind sounds in the background.
Welcome to Entombed version 1. Load existing. Start new game.
Alright. So now I think we're ready to start a new game. So there are two ways to start a game. One of them is to press enter. The other is shift enter. And shift enter will begin a game in hard mode. And what hard mode attempts to do is make the game more realistic, because you can't, when you save a game, it returns you to the main menu, and the next time you load that game, that save is deleted. And so if you die, your game is over. So you're basically mortal, because you can't continue.
And doesn't it also restrict when you can save, because if you just save every 2 minutes, it won't be that difficult.
Yeah. So, let's start a new game.
Hard mode selected. Good luck. Editorial
Oops.
include character.
No.
Load existing game. Start new game. Character creation. Please type the characters given name.
No, I'm not playing in hard mode for this demonstration because...
Good luck, mortal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. I didn't know it said that.
So, what should I name this character?
I don't know. What do you want to play as, or have you not decided that yet?
I haven't said this yet. I haven't decided yet. This is why it would be nice if it had you select your race first, and then you can name it later, because...
Yeah. What do you think you want to do? Because, I mean, normally my suggestions are going to be, well, names from previous characters and previous things I've read, but...
Well...
If you want to name it something, then go ahead.
I want to do something that's, like, not hard to get going, because, I don't want to do something that's going to require me to have to do a lot of work and have a lot of items. Now, granted, I did just get some bizarre trade coins, so it's going to make my life a little bit easier. But
that's true, because you can always buy things.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to do something like a goblin, or as strong as ogres are.
Oh yeah.
They take a while to actually get going. They're one of the strongest things you can play as, but
yeah, we'll get to that. I'll get to that in my race review. I only have some things to say about a few races, so
Lexi has logged in.
Yeah.
Now, class review might take a little while, because I might have a couple of things to say per class, but yeah. So, what do you want to name this guy? Or girl, or whatever.
Superman 84.
I think I'm gonna do female for this game. I think I'll name it. I think I'll name it Sarah.
You could use. Okay.
I could use. What were you gonna say?
Oh no! I was gonna give a name suggestion, but if that's what you
Well, what is it?
Oh no! I was gonna suggest. I was just gonna suggest a name from lore that I read. I was gonna suggest you use. If you wanted to make it a female, well, actually, it kind of depended on what you wanted to make it. So yeah, just go with that.
Okay.
It kind of depends on what you wanted to do it. So yeah, just do that.
Now, family name, I actually don't usually worry about. You can have a last name.
I only use family names if characters of mine have last names.
Yeah. In this case, I'm not gonna choose one, because
yeah, it doesn't really matter too much.
Okay, so it's asking me, is this okay? I'm gonna hit yes.
Is Sarah male or female? Blank.
Now, it's asking if it's male or female, so I'm gonna hit F.
And choose your race. Human.
All right, now here's the fun part.
It's fun, yes.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna do a little bit of a race and class review. And I'm gonna give my honest opinion. Do you know what race you're gonna be?
Not yet, but I think I'll go through the races first and then decide which one I want to.
Alright. So, let's start with human. Humans I've found to be a bit of an what?
Yeah, so each race has its own stats. and the stats are, so there's strength, which affects...
I'm so sorry about that. I had to... Someone was freaking being an idiot. But
It's alright.
back to what I was saying. I find humans to be average. In just about every aspect. They're like... There's nothing really, you know, special about them. They have a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
But they're pretty... I mean... There's no issue with them. They don't have a lot of weak points.
They're what I would call a mediocre.
Strong points.
They're what I would call a mediocre race. They're average. They're not good. They're not great. They're not terrible.
Yale has logged in. Yale has logged in. Yale joined channel root.
They're
Yale joined channel root.
They're average. If you want the most job diversity, this is what I would choose.
Yeah, human is for sure the way to go. Yeah.
Now, before we go any further, I should note each race has its own stats. So there's strength, which affects how hard you hit. The strength.
Logan has logged in.
Oh yeah.
Logan has logged in.
The different strength. Different strengths are. There's pathetic. And yes, one race does have pathetic strength, which I'll get to.
I think I know what race that is, but I'm not sure about that. Oh, was it the... Okay. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Then there's frail.
Logan left.
Then weak, average, muscular, strong, very strong, and incredibly strong.
Very strong, incredibly strong.
Intelligence affects how much damage you do with magic spells. Now, one interesting thing about magic in this game is that it never misses. Unlike physical attacks, which have a chance to miss, especially.
That is true. I've never actually known that. Like.
Yeah.
That's
Magic will never miss. Generally, however, now while you can do a lot of damage with magic, it's harder to do quite as much damage with magic as it is physical damage. Especially if...
Yes, because if you have a good... Oh, yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I was going to say, if you have a good enough weapon, then physical damage is going to be, like, ridiculous, especially if you have good stats.
Yeah.
Rush doing extreme damage to everything. But... Yeah.
So, intelligence, there is dull, stupid. Actually, no. There's moronic, stupid, dull, average, smart, bright, gifted, and genius. And a lot of animals tend to have moronic intelligence because they're not, well, they're unintelligent and they don't do magic. Then we have coordination, which affects how accurate you are physically. So there is uncoordinated, average, accurate, true, exact, and faultless.
What he's saying is, I think he's saying, like, with ranged weapons. And yes, there are ranged weapons. We will get to that in a sec.
Well, coordination isn't just for ranged weapons.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, it does affect... It does have some effect on physical... Yes, yeah, you're right.
But coordination is important, is especially important for ranged attacks, but it does also affect
Lexi left channel route. Lexi has logged out.
it does also affect non-ranged weapons, how accurate you are with those. And then creativity is interesting because I didn't really know what creativity did until someone actually explained it to me, because this is one stat that wasn't documented very well. Basically, from what I can gather, I believe creativity affects how well negative spells bind to you. By negative spells, I mean charm, stuff like charm, Fellimorph.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that with the Bard and later in the game Trickster races.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, classes.
Yeah, so it affects how well those spells work on you, as well as how easy it is for you to affect someone with those kind of spells. So if you try and cast them on someone with really high creativity, chances are it's not gonna work very well. Especially if your creativity is lower. Now, I should note, all races do start out with average creativity. And so the creativity is always going to be average for every race you play as.
Lexi has logged in.
But
Lexi has logged...
you can increase that with armor that offers creativity boost. So creativity, we have average, clever, inventive, inspired, and visionary. And then speed, of course, affects how fast you are, how often you can act in between turns. Certain skills have cooldown time, particularly the skills that attack more than once. And during that cooldown time, you're not going to be able to act. So, and having a speed boost will really help with that, reduce that cooldown time. Like Flurry, for example, is a fighter skill, and when you use it, you're not going to be able to act for a while.
Disconnected from server. Disconnected from server. Connected to the server. Joined channel Brian's. Message from Prime Minister Steelblade. Low. Entombed. Human.
Okay, you're there.
7, off controls with. Stop recording checkbox chat. Download Windows in Chris's server. Team talk V5. Chris's server / Chris's server / micro voice chat history. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Off studio. Entombed Bro. Cortana roll.
You can't hear me?
Chris's server / off studio. Entombed Bro. Human. Cortana roll and call. Chris's server / micro voice chat history. Message edit flag.
Hold on.
Channel message sent. Hold on. Channel message from Prime Minister Steelblade. K. Lexi left. Human. Human Cortana roll off studio. Download with Chris's server team talk. Chris's server team talk V5. Chris's server team talk V5. Master volume. Entombed. Entombed. Human off down. Entombed video MP. Brian all player Entombed Cortana off studio. Download window. Minimum 2 item. Minimum 2. Start with.
Hold on, I'm having some technical difficulties here.
Team talk V5. No button. Yes, no button. Team talk V5. Christopher with Team Talk V5 8 microphone get master channel list review. Chris Seth Gamer on.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, are you still recording? Yes.
Okay, let me log in my
new client instance dialog select profile combo box Brian.
What happened?
Down.
I don't know. My internet dropped, and for some reason when it came back,
microphone master volumes channel Brian's channel.
It didn't connect properly.
Minimum 2 Entombed Grow 1 Goblin. Human.
Can you hear my Entomb now?
No, you haven't logged in your instance.
Chris's.
Oh, I.
Minimum 2 Cortana off studio download win my password.
Are you still recording now?
MP3 recording still rolling? Column 1. All players new version available. Row 3 column. New version. Yes, no button. Chris's.
What?
Or not.
Disconnected from server. Christopher.me. Connect to a server dialog. Christopher. Choose your job. Finder. Channel list.
Oh.
Oops.
Whoa.
Intune row 1. Minimum 2 items. We're 10. Row 1. Off studio. Download with my password. Intune play video.
I
Row
was
2.
asking
row
if
3.
you're
Collins.
still
Client row 3.
recording.
Collins. All players. Team talk V5.
No.
Master microphone.
Yeah, I am.
History yet. Master volumes.
Oh, okay. My apologies, viewers. We seem to be having some technical
History yet. Master.
difficulties.
Team talk V. Microphone.
Yeah.
Voice act. Team talk V5.
These happen.
There. Christopher.me. Starting new game. 8. 1 Bryant's.
Oops.
There we go.
Intune row 1.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Options. Exit. Return to title.
Oh.
Main menu.
Okay.
Starting game.
Let me.
Chris's server.
Let me.
1. Chat history message edit channel master volume slider 0 microphone voice activate chat message edit flag channel Chris administrator.
Let me disable my. So I don't double my.
Use Brian microphone Brian's feed.
Oh no, yeah, but I didn't think you started the game already.
I didn't. I accidentally
load existing game. Start the game. Chris starting game. Channel Brian's.
pressed enter.
Oh, you accidentally just clicked enter.
Prime Minister Steele Brian's VB voice for Brian's VB cable disabled. Brian microphone administrator. Voice for Brian disabled.
Which is gonna be pretty.
Okay, which
voice for Brian's VB cable enabled.
which
Start the game. Start the game. Channel voice
instance do I do this
your
on
instance
again?
with master volume.
Text message.
You need to disable the VB cable. With your one at master volume at 50.
Chris, start the game. Start the game. Microphone, voice active, chat tab, voice active, chat, message, master volume, slider 60. Message
Okay.
edit, blank, master, voice, chat, message edit, blank.
Just go ahead and disable that with control
text
shift M and.
text message, Seth Gamer, Superman, game, general, meet, user, Brian microphone, Brian's VB, voice for Brian's VB cable disabled. Chris, start the game. Tune grow, load existing game.
There we go. Okay. You can still hear this, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure can. Whoa.
Good.
Start the game.
All right. So, I believe I was talking about speed.
Yes, you are.
So, speed affects how fast you can act, as well as how often you can act in between turns. And as I said, there are cooldown. There's cooldown time for some skills, particularly the ones that attack multiple times, like Flurry. After you use Flurry, you won't be able to attack for a little longer than you otherwise would.
Oh yeah. But if you have the right guy, then Flurry will just destroy you.
Yep.
Whoa, what is your voice activation slider? Check that before we continue.
Chris's micro voice activation level slider 0.
0.
Start the game. Chris's server micro voice activation.
Okay, check on your other instances for set 0.
Voice activation level slider 1. 0.
Oh, that's why. Okay. There we go.
Alright, now set that to 0. Okay. Alright. So yeah.
So there's speed, and then there's the last one is fortune. Now fortune affects how fast your stats increase per level, and by default, fortune is always going to be undetermined. So every race has undetermined fortune by default, and you can find items that will increase that. So yeah, you'll be able to find items that increase fortune.
Lexi has logged in. Lexi joined channel root.
Hopefully.
Lexi joined channel root.
So those are the stats, and then of course you have HP, which is hit points, or as some synthesizers say, horsepower.
Horsepower.
Yeah. For HP they say horsepower. So.
And you have MP, which is magic points. Those are used to cast spells. If you have 0 magic points, bye-bye, no spell for you.
Yeah. Speaking of which, it's important to note that you do not necessarily die when your HP hits 0.
Oh yeah. So that's a really complex system. We might want to explain that when we get into the game.
Yeah. So those are the
Chris's server
stats.
slash. Start new game. 1. Intune grow 1.
Let's see.
Chris's Manum Court Ops download my past Intune videos row 3 MP right alt int Chris Manum Court tab Ops Studio download my past Intune play pro Intune start new game 1 load existing start new game. Character creation. Please type the characters give a name.
Oh, I have to rename this because I accidentally started a new
Sarah,
game.
male or female? Choose your race. Human.
See, one thing I don't like is for some reason this game intercepts it intercepts keystrokes sometimes, and so I pressed enter in another window, but it pressed enter on this in this window.
It does do that. I don't know why it does. Something's wrong with the keyhold
Yeah.
in the project.
But I believe before we started talking about stats, we were going through the races.
Yep.
So human we already pretty much talked about. The next one
Goblin.
is Goblin.
Okay, now these guys are really not great. I mean,
No.
these guys are incredibly challenging. If you want a challenge, then yeah, play as a goblin.
You can
Because
argue.
these guys really don't have great stats. Go on.
Yeah, you can argue that they're one of the hardest races to play as, because
I think they are. Because all their stats around the board are...
yeah, barring
Not
speed, which is
Oh, yeah.
they are agile. Their strength is weak.
Oh,
But intelligence and coordination are terrible. To put it into perspective,
Oh my
intelligence is dull and coordination is uncoordinated.
uncoordinated?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really bad. So if you want challenge, play as a goblin and do it in hard mode.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did for that score you saw
Your grip hook?
earlier. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. If you have armor, then that should be okay, I guess. Especially if you do a trick that we can get into later. But yeah, I think
Which
we're done.
I think I'll probably detail that, but that's for later. I'll probably do it after I
That's when we
finish the
actually get
game.
into the game.
Yeah.
Elf.
Yeah.
So next is Elf.
Elves. Elves are. They're not very strong, but they are much smarter than their
Yeah.
human counterparts.
They are one of the
They're
most
better.
intelligent races you're gonna find.
Yeah.
Barring one which I will come to later.
Oh yeah.
They might they might be one of the smartest, if not the second smartest. So they're really good to play as for magic races, but don't play as something like well, preferably don't play something like an elf fighter, because you might not be able to do a lot of damage unless you find stuff that will really increase strength.
I mean, they're also pretty good with coordination, so if you get like an elven ranger, you might want to make them a ranger thief, because
they're still average like humans, but I think they're a little bit more coordinated, because there's different levels of average for things. Like, you know,
Yes.
you can increase a stat,
you
but
have
it doesn't mean it will increase to the next level.
it will actually increase to the next level, yeah.
So their coordination is average, but I think it's a little better than humans, than coordination for humans. They aren't the most coordinated race in the game. There are more coordinated races than they are, but they make pretty good archers. because of their coordination.
They also make pretty good magic races like Necro and Druid and Healer, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah. They're not as diverse in terms of jobs as humans are. They don't have as many job choices. They're more limited, so you can't be, for example, an elf fighter or assassin, because elves can't be assassins. They can be thieves, but they can't be assassins, or I don't believe they can be barbarians.
Nope.
So,
but
they tend to be more magically oriented. Yeah.
Yes.
Half elf.
Now we have half elf.
To tell you the truth, I have not had much experience with this class, with this race.
I don't.
I've noticed that they're agile in terms of speed and coordination, but they are also versatile. They're more versatile than the elves.
Yeah, they're more versatile than elves
and jobs.
But they're not quite as diverse as humans are. But they are more versatile than elves. You could argue, in terms of speed, these are better than humans because they're faster, while still having average strength like humans do. I believe they're also a little more coordinated than humans, and they're also smarter. They're also more intelligent than humans, but not quite as intelligent as elves are.
That seems like a pretty okay race to play.
Yeah, they're big enough to wield some of the bigger weapons in the game. Although they're going to be They're going to be two-handed for them. Which I'll detail all that.
Ogre.
Okay, now we have Ogre.
Alright, now I have some stuff to say about this one. So, Ogres are extremely slow, and I know because I've played with one before, and I've had one in my party. They're extremely slow, extremely stupid, but their strength is ridiculous. They can be mitochondric powerhouses if you level them and put skill points into things right.
Yeah.
Normally, you don't want to have an Ogre Mage or an Ogre Shaman because Mage and Shaman are magically oriented. And what did I just say? They're extremely stupid. So you're going to have extreme minimal damage with that.
And like goblins, they're also extremely uncoordinated.
Oh yeah.
So it does take a little while for these to get to the point where they're absolute powerhouses, because believe me, they can be. They're also the only race you can play as that will be able to wield by default will be able to wield two great axes, for example, two mauls, which are the largest weapons in the game and also some of the most damaging. Everyone else is either too small, or it takes two hands to wield one great axe or one maul. Because, of course, a really small race cannot wield something like a battle axe or a great axe because they're too small. They're too small to do it. So Ogres also start with the most health out of anything. The health they have at level 1 is 257, which is almost a little more than twice as much as half-orcs, which start with the second most health. I believe they start with 120. So
No.
so gnomes are next.
Gnomes are
Yes.
Whoa. Gnomes are... They're extremely mid. Like,
Yeah.
they don't have any special qualities. They're just mid.
Yeah. Believe it or not, they do start with smart intelligence. However, the thing, I still don't play them, and the reason why is because they are weak in terms of strength, and they're only average speed, and that doesn't go well
And
together.
their AP sucks.
Yeah. They have 100 hit points, which almost everything has 100 hit points that you start with the exceptions of half-orcs and ogres and fairies.
Dwarf.
Now we have dwarf.
Oh yeah, these guys' HPs suck. And I had one. Remember that dwarf brawler? Yeah, he sucked. So dwarves are weak.
Actually, they're
Oh
muscular.
no, they're stronger than humans.
Yeah,
Aren't they stronger than humans?
they are.
Yeah, they're stronger than humans, but they are smaller than humans. So you're not. They can't wield powerful weapons.
Yeah. Other than strength, they're pretty similar. Other than strength and size, they're pretty similar to humans. Other than strength, their strength is better. They are not very diverse at all in the magic department. The only two magic races they can be are healer and mage. So yeah. Also, the other problem, like we said, is they're not big enough to wield some of the more powerful weapons in the game. So
Halfling.
now we have halflings.
I haven't really had much experience with these. I know that they're smaller than humans. I think they're a bit stronger though, but they can't wield like swords and all that.
They're actually weaker than humans. They actually start out with weak strength. Their intelligence is
Okay.
Their intelligence is pretty good. However, the problem is they can only be exactly one magic job. And that is...
Druid, right?
Yeah. Which is not good if you rescue a halfling druid, because you don't have a second magic job to make it. And magic jobs and non-magic jobs don't tend to go well together. So, actually,
Half-orc.
yeah.
Halfling.
So,
Okay, now half orcs.
I wanted to
Oh.
say one more thing about halflings.
Oh, go on.
We didn't really go over their stats too much. So, as I said, they are they're weaker than humans. They're more intelligent, but they don't have much to show for that because they can only be druids. However, halflings are very coordinated. They're accurate, and they can be rangers, and so and they're big enough to wield longbows, which are the best ranged weapons you're gonna find. They're also quite fast. They're agile, speed. So in some respects, they make better archers than elves do because of their coordination. So if you want to be something like a ranger, I would either be an elf or a halfling.
Half-orc.
Okay, now we have half-orc.
Okay, let me quickly take over these half-orcs. So, personally, if you want something that's physical... Okay, now, I want to talk about, because as far as strength,
left. Channel route.
these guys are better than humans, by far.
Yeah.
But the problem that I have with half-orcs, which is why I don't really use them a lot, and I stick to human, is one thing. As a half-orc, you cannot rescue non-dungeon races, which are human, elf, half-elf, halfling, gnome, fairy, and I think
dwarf.
Oh, dwarf, yes, dwarf. And I think that's about it. And the only races that you can get are half-orcs. I think you can get orcs. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can.
I've never
Orcs,
orc. Okay.
which are orcs by the way are almost the same as half-orcs. I think they're a little bigger, and they don't have quite as much job diversity. But I think they're a little bit. I think they're a little bit bigger. But they're almost identical. They start with, I think, 20 more HP than orcs, or than half-orcs, I mean. It's either 130 or 140.
Yeah. So, you could get a half-orc, an orc, which both of those are fine, an ogre, which I personally don't play as, a goblin, which I already told you our faults with him, a ratkin, which we'll get to in just a sec, but he's alright, and a cobalt.
From Microsoft Edge.
Now, you cannot play as a cobalt,
No.
but kobolds suck. They only have 3 jobs: thief, trickster, mage. None of those go together. Their stats suck. That's why I don't play as half-orc, because you can only get those races. Now, if you play as Ratkin, you will be able to get both dungeon and non-dungeon races, which can be bad if you get like a cool party member and then a freaking cobalt. But
Yeah.
that just proves the randomness of the game and how he coded it to be that. So yeah, those are the half-orcs.
Cobalts are, they're bad. They're very weak. Actually, they're frail strength. Their strength is frail. Their intelligence is actually, I think it's average. They don't have very good coordination. Their health is 75, which is less than most other races, with the exception of one, which we'll get to later. But they're not really worth playing as. Well, you can't play as one, but you can rescue one. But in my opinion, they're not really worth having in your party. Because they're just hard. They're hard to make work, and they don't have very good job diversity at all. So yeah. So next,
Fairy.
we have Fairy.
Okay, let me quickly cover these guys. If you want to keep a fairy alive for the entire game without using the armor trick, I have one word to describe that. Nightmare. Fairies' hit points are ridiculously low. Their freaking strength is ridiculously weak.
Chris left channel route. Chris has logged out.
It's literally the worst
Intelligence.
strength.
Yes, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
It's literally pathetic. It literally deals no damage.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even light damage, it's just no damage. Nothing. But they're in magic and their intelligence, which, by the way, stands to reason because a lot of, in lots of, stories involving fairies, they're magical beings.
Yeah.
But still, like, oh my god, these things kind of suck.
They're arguably one of the most intelligent races in the game. Maybe aside from elves. I haven't really been able to tell whether elves or fairies are more intelligent because they both start out with smart intelligence. But if you're trying to play as a fairy, you need to have armor that will give HP increase, because otherwise you will not have a good time trying to keep fairies alive. I'll just say that because their HP is 50. That's how much they start out with, which is the least amount of HP that any race you can play as starts with. They're very coordinated. Now, here's the other problem with fairies. They are too small to use pretty much any weapon in the game other than daggers. And daggers are two-handed for them. That's how small they are, and a dagger is not very big.
Yeah. It's not.
And they take two hands to use it. Which can be a problem if you're trying to boost intelligence with weapons, because you can only have one weapon you can use, and that'll be a dagger rather than using two weapons. Fairies can be 3 jobs: Mage, Trickster, and Healer. Which, of course, are all magical. Now,
Channel message from Prime Minister Steelblade. Hold on BRB. Channel message from Prime Minister Steelblade.
Okay.
Hold on BRB.
Now, one thing I do want to mention is that your...
Channel message from Prime Minister Steelblade. I've got to go. You can continue reviewing races until I get back. Channel message from Prime Minister Steelblade. I've got to go. You can continue...
Your strength... The higher strength you have...
14 has logged in. No name number.
You will actually increase your HP more. Your HP will increase more per level as you level up, depending on how much strength you have.
Fairy, Entombed. Fairy, Entombed, like Chris's server. His best channel with Brian's. CDs. See Bryant microphone. Bryant's channel 2. Bryant's VBK. CB's hideout.
So
Entombed. Ratkin.
now we have Ratkin. Now Ratkins are
Lexi has logged in. Lexi has logged in. Lexi joined channel.
So
root. Lexi joined channel root.
Ratkins are they're pretty interesting because Ratkins have weak strength. They have their intelligence is average. They have quite good coordination. And their speed is quick. In terms of job diversity, they're pretty diverse. They can be stuff like fighter, assassin. They are too small to use a lot of the better weapons. In the game, but if I was playing as Ratkin, I would do intelligence, intelligence-based versus physical, because they tend to have better intelligence.
No name number 214.
So yeah, they tend to have better intelligence, and so
human.
So now we're back to human. Those are all of the races that are available to us. Now I'm going to detail what jobs are available. So in order to do that, I'm going to hit enter on humans, since humans have the most job diversity.
Choose your job. Fighter.
So we have fighter. Fighters are physically based, of course. They have magical or physical skills. They can use the most weapons in the game, other than I don't think they can use longbows or bows or slings or whips. So fighters have an ability called Flurry, which will attack one enemy multiple times. The more you raise Flurry, the more it will attack. They have dual wield, which will allow you to attack with both weapons if you have two weapons in your hand. One weapon in one hand, one weapon in the other hand. They'll let you attack with both weapons at the same time. They have they can use the most armor. They can use every piece of armor in the game. So yeah.
Mage.
The mage, I think, is to be honest, it's rather limited, because mages usually, on a lot of other games, they have a lot of different harmful and elemental spells they can use. But mages in this game only have exactly one spell that's that they can do damage with, and that's Firebolts, which does not start out as a very good spell. You really have to raise it and raise your intelligence to get use out of it, unfortunately. And the more you raise Firebolts, the more damage it will do, and the more it will attack. The max is level 5 for everything skill.
Healer.
Healers have the heal spell, which will heal your party members. They have harm, which is their only harmful spell to do damage with. And so they can also do reattach, which will reattach a limb if it falls off, if it gets chopped off or whatever.
Thief.
Thieves are... they're the lesser version of a job, which I'll come to later, because so Thieves have the sneak attack ability, which can go to level 3, which can only go to level 3, and they have hide, so when they hide they do sneak attack, and that's when the ability triggers. Abilities, by the way, use ability points, which certain jobs have a different number of ability points depending on what job they are. Magical jobs do not usually use ability points, so by the way, most magical jobs can only use light armor. So light armor being stuff like cotton, wool, stuff like that, which are tunics and loincloths and gloves, some gloves. So yeah.
Thief.
So Thieves have the sneak attack ability. They also have pick locks, which will allow you to pick locks when you discover hidden secret areas, which I will get to when we actually start playing here.
Fortune teller.
The fortune teller job is not very good. The fortune teller has the
New notification from Microsoft Edge by UT.
it has an ability called Read Fortune, which will read your party's fortune, and if the fortune's good, your damage will be slightly increased. If it's bad, then you'll do slightly less damage for the duration of the battle. Then they have Draw Card. Draw Card is a skill they use to do damage with, and it really doesn't do a lot of damage. And the Clairvoyance skill will increase the damage that Draw Card does, as well as increase how many cards you can draw. By default, you can only draw 1, because that skill starts at level 1 and can be increased to 5.
Wanderer.
Wanderers aren't really very good either. They're quite bad. They have the ability to observe your enemies, observe things you're fighting, and they can learn 3 skills. Subdivide, which will divide your character into 2, basically. So there's you and then there's your clone. And your clone cannot be controlled by you and comes with its own equipment, which usually isn't very good. But it can be beneficial as an extra target for enemies. So rather than attacking you, they might target your clone. And they also can learn Combine, which will combine your party into one
Lexi left channel route.
big
Lexi left channel route.
into
Lexi
one
has
big
logged out.
enemy.
Lexi has logged out.
It'll combine your characters into one enemy, and it'll take on its strength. I think strength is the only stat it might inherit, or that it will inherit. I don't know about the others. And then you can learn Breathe Fire, which Breathe Fire is dependent on your size, so smaller characters won't do as much damage with Breathe Fire as larger characters.
Ranger.
Rangers specialize in bows, as well as I think they can use long swords too, but they're usually I prefer to use a bow. So Rangers have the multi-shot ability, which will target multiple enemies and shoot a whole bunch of times with the weapon, if you're using a bow. And they have True Shot, which attempts to bypass armor, but tends to not do as much damage.
Necromancer.
The Necromancer is one of my favorite jobs in the game. It has the Ice Blast spell, which is one of the more powerful spells in this game. That's what they use to do damage. So they have Ice Blast. They can also summon bones, so you can have a skeleton companion and put equipment on it, things like that. The skeleton cannot be controlled by you, so it attacks on its own. Does whatever it wants. And they have Banish Undead, which is a spell used for undead, so zombies and skeletons, which does a lot of damage to them once you start leveling it up and gaining intelligence. So
Adventurer.
the Adventurer they sense secrets. So they're adventurers, basically. Their main interest is treasure. So they have the sense secrets ability, which will attempt to sense secrets as you're moving throughout the dungeon. And secrets usually include chests, which can either be locked or unlocked, and occasionally you will find secret shops, and they tend to have better items than normal shops do. So And they also have the pick lock skill, which starts out at level 0. So when skills start out at level 0, they usually cost 2 or 3 points to acquire. And then once you acquire a skill, from then on it costs 1 point to raise. Yeah. They also specialize. Whips are the main weapon they use, and whips are actually really good. They're one of the better weapons in the game. There's chain whips and then there's leather whips, and chain whips are better.
Druid.
Druids are they're a nature class, so they have the lightning spell, which is probably the best spell in the game damage wise, and it can hit multiple targets. So when you use lightning, it has a chance to arc to other targets and does a lot of damage. They also have regeneration, and regeneration will begin to regenerate your party members in battle, slowly regaining their health. But regeneration won't work to heal mangled or missing body parts, so you will have to use heal for that. But if you're fighting certain things, sometimes you can out-regenerate them, because you can out-regenerate the damage that they take, or that you take. And the higher the regeneration level is, the longer it will last, and the more health you'll regenerate. They also have Reincarnate, which will reincarnate one of your party members as something else. What it comes back as is totally random, and it can either be good or bad. So yeah, it's totally random what they come back as. I use regeneration sometimes, especially later on in the game. Or reincarnate, I mean. They also have Summon Animal, which will summon an animal companion to fight alongside you.
Brawler.
Brawlers are, they have a skill called Grapple, and Grapple will restrain your target, and then you can, when the target's grappled, it unlocks some other abilities. You can use Headbutt, and you can also use Grab Weapon, which will attempt to grab the target's weapon. Also, Grapple has a chance to make the target unable to act at all. And Grapple is required for one job's ability, which I will get to later. One of the other jobs has an ability which only will work when Grapple is active.
Bard.
Grappled targets, by the way, are also easier to attack. So Bard specializes in they play musical melodies that will do various things. So they have Soothing Song, which will put enemies to sleep. And while enemies are asleep, they're easier to hit, and they'll also take more damage. But they wake up the instant they're hit. So, I don't use Soothing Song a lot because I just don't. I attack other ways, but it can be nice. They also have Mending Song, and Mending Song is like Regeneration, except it's group regeneration. So it regenerates everyone versus a single target like the Druid regeneration spell does. So that can be really powerful. They have Battle Song, which will increase everyone's damage for a duration of time. The higher the song is, the more damage gets increased and the longer it'll last. They have Siren Song, which charms everyone, attempts to charm everyone in the target list. And when enemies are charmed, they'll either attack you, or I mean, they'll either attack themselves or they'll attack other party members.
What are we talking about?
Bards.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm back. Oh, bards. Okay, so I missed a lot of this stuff, but basically,
yeah. So I'll recap for you.
I'm gonna go through like what I think about the classes because yeah, there's a few things. I'm pretty sure you explained like all the abilities and stuff, but
yeah.
So yeah.
Actually, if I passed Fortune Teller already.
Oh.
Which
that is Garbo. That is straight Garbo. Fortune tellers suck.
yeah.
They only have like 2 abilities, which are Clairvoyance and Draw a Card. I think Clairvoyance has something to do with how the battle's gonna look.
So
I just think they suck.
I
was like, ooh, Fortune tellers.
They have Read Fortune. Read Fortune will either increase or decrease the amount of damage you do in the battle, depending on what your fortune is. If your fortune's bad, you'll do less damage. If it's good, you'll do more. And then I talked about Wanderers. Wanderers aren't very good either.
No, they suck. They only have one ability. Now, a lot of people have the common argument. I'm pretty sure we've been recording for like 2 hours now. But
yeah, sorry.
No, no. I'm saying like because I just wanted to give an argument that a lot of people say, well, Wanderers are actually really good because you can get Breathe Fire, which is a move we'll get into later. Let me debunk that real quick. Number one, Breathe Fire. Number one, the observe strategy is not 100% gonna get you the result that you want.
No.
Like, sure, it can get you Subdivide, which sucks, and you can get those from like literally the most low tier creature in the game, Dungeon Creeps.
Actually, you can get it from Crypt Creeps as well. Because Crypt Creeps have
slightly higher tail, but they still suck.
Yeah.
So number 2, Breathe Fire depends on the size of the individual who is casting it. So the Drake is a lot bigger than a human, so Breathe Fire is going to do a bit less damage. You can argue that using Grow could work, but I don't have to. I think if you have to purely rely on scrolls to do okay damage, you suck.
Yeah. Now, they also have combine,
Oh my
which
goodness, that thing.
yeah, which is actually an ability that one boss has, which we'll get to later.
Oh my, yeah, okay.
Yeah, which basically combines you into, it combines all of your party members and it takes on their strength and HP stats. So
That can be kind of useful, but like I said, if you have one good ability and you don't have anything else to you, you suck.
yeah, I agree.
Now, a few of the classes, because I'm not gonna go over all of them because he pretty much explained it. I like fighters for what they are. If you get an elf fighter, then that really sucks.
Yeah.
But if you get like a human, they make that into a fighter assassin because I'm pretty sure, as he already explained, the assassins have.
I haven't gone to assassins yet, so.
Oh. Shoot. Well, ignore everything I just said there. Have you gotten a paladin yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, goody. Have you gotten a druid?
Yeah.
I actually really like druids because of lightning, which he already explained to you.
Yeah.
What it does.
Lightning is one of
and
the best
also
spells
he
in the
already
game.
explained- Yes. Yes, it is. Because if we're gonna get into the skill point system when we start the game, but if you level that up to level 5, it has the ability to arc
Yeah.
to other enemies. And boy, if you have armor that boosts your intelligence, oh boy, delicious damage. I like it. And he also pretty explained Reincarnate. That's
Yeah.
why he got the dire bat healer.
Yeah.
Mages, I think that they
They're underrepresented.
Yes. Let me put this in perspective for you. The entombed mage. Oh, I'm sorry if you were gonna say something, but I just want to put this in perspective for the people that want a good idea, because I don't think we'll be playing as mage. The entombed mage has 3 spells that they can use at any given time. They have grow, which, well,
Oh, I forgot to talk about grow and shrink actually. So.
Oh, they have grow and shrink. Now, I think there's a system in play where if something grows, they're a lot easier to hit, but they take less damage.
Yeah.
But it's actually the reverse if someone uses shrink. They're a lot harder to hit, but your attacks pack more of a punch, which I guess makes sense.
That's what
you can get sense falling through the air a lot.
Yeah.
Which consequently is more damage done. And Firebolt. Now, Firebolt, he already explained to you, has an ability to fire multiple times at one target. Now, a mage in another different game that we're not going to talk about here has fire spells, multiple of them, ice spells, multiple of them, and electricity spells, multiple of them. So...
Yeah. And that's usually how mages are. Usually mages have a lot of mages are known for damage, elemental spells or whatever other spells, but mages get exactly 1 damaging spell in this game, and it's really not a very good spell. It
can do okay damage at best.
Yeah.
It does do a lot of damage to something that we will get into way later in the game. But
yeah. Actually,
Thieves, he probably already explained.
That's not the only thing it does.
Yeah, go on.
That's not the only thing it does better damage to. I know what you're talking about, but I'll show you when we get there too. But it's going to be a while before we encounter that as well.
Okay, so I was gonna say he probably already explained to you what thieves do, so there's no need for me to go over that. I think they're okay. If I get an elven thief, I'm probably gonna make her a thief ranger, because rangers, as he probably already explained to you, they have multi-shot, they have true shot. I think they're pretty good. Healers are, my personal opinion, they're good if you have the right race. Now, I know that sounds like it applies to almost every job, but because it does. Now, a lot of almost every job, it depends on whether you have the right race for it. But I think that healer on its own, without putting race into consideration, is pretty good because it has heal, which well, it heals you, and it has reattach. Now I don't think maybe you did fully explain this.
I talked about reattach a little bit, yeah.
So basically, to put it into a little bit more perspective, I'm gonna break down the damage system a little bit. I'm not gonna get into it a lot. Basically, there are different parts of the human body, and there are different parts of the body of your character. Now, let's say that someone targets your hand with an axe, and the axe pierces through your hand, and your hand is on the floor. Now, let's say you win, and your hand's on the floor, and there's no way to put it back on you because you're not at a hospital. So what you have to do there is one of two things. Number one, use reattach. Number two, use a reattach scroll. And scrolls, I don't know if he talked about that.
There aren't actually any reattach scrolls in the game. So
there aren't?
No.
Oh hell, I thought there were.
No.
Oh yeah, so if you
the only way you can reattach something is if you have a healer in your party.
That's
so
okay. That's why armor is important. I've never lost a limb when I have armor, so you might want some armor to protect things. Now, they also have harm, and I think harm is a great spell. It's actually a pretty good spell. It does some pretty decent damage.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he explained adventurers to you. They're pretty boss. They have whips. Elven, adventurer, thief, freaking Rex. Even though the sneak attack thing, which we'll get into later. I'm pretty sure he already explained Necro is one of my favorite classes in the game.
Yeah.
They are so awesome. They're sick. Not only do they have the ability to summon skeletons and Banish Undead, but they also have one of the best and most effective combat spells in the game, Ice Blast.
Yeah.
This thing, it does a ton of damage. It does a lot of damage, and you can target it, which we'll get into later. Did you talk about tricksters? No, I don't think you did, because
I will talk about the other two jobs humans don't get once we get done with the
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he talked about Brawlers.
So that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's where I left off.
Oh, you have one?
I left off on Bard.
Oh yeah, so Bard. Real quick, let me do my stuff. So Bards. Now, I don't find them appealing for a first class. I think they're better off as a secondary. Now remember, he said earlier, if you have a halfling druid, that kind of sucks because you don't have any magical stuff to back it up. That's actually very true. But what I would do in that situation, and I'm pretty sure I encourage you to do as well, if you ever get a halfling druid and you're like, oh dang it, I can't make it a druid necro. Yeah, I know, sick, right? Too bad. What I would like you to do is, I'd like you to make a druid bard, because that way you have access to Siren Song, and you have access to Mending Song. Oh no, not Siren Song. Oh my god, not Siren Song. Soothing Song, Battle Song, Mending Song, and
Siren Song is the other.
Oh, so what does Soothing Song do?
Soothing Song puts enemies to sleep.
Siren Song Charms. I forgot about that. Now, the thing I want you to do if you want to make a druid bard is be mindful of intelligence and creativity. You want armor that boosts both of those, because you have a druid, you want it to do damage with lightning.
Yeah.
But if you have a bard, you also want the effects of the spells to last longer upon your opponents. Because if you're asleep, if their opponents are asleep or charmed, it makes it a lot easier for your mid-buff characters to come in for the kill, and then boom, you die.
Yep.
So yeah, just be mindful of that.
So sleeping targets take more damage. They're easier to hit. And
can't they not attack, or I'm pretty sure they can't attack.
They can't attack, but they will wake up the instant they're hit. And the problem with Soothing Song, which is why I don't use it a lot, is that if you have a party member that you can't control, and you want to do something to where where you want to use something
especially
like,
because of your pet owner.
Yeah, that's why I don't use Soothing Song a lot. Because
I mean, you can if you get it reincarnated to something that. Oh, actually, no, never mind. It doesn't matter. That does not matter. Unless you kill it, but I don't think you want to do that.
No.
Well, I mean, you can if it really sucks and you really don't like it. But
yeah.
Because that's animal abuse, so we don't abuse animals on this channel. Did you mention Barbarian and Brawler? No, right? Or, yeah,
I talked about Brawler already, but not Barbarian yet. So.
Oh, so Brawlers, I'm pretty sure, as he already explained, yeah, I missed a bunch of it. It does not matter. I'm back now. They are pretty sick, especially if you combine them with, talk about in like 5 minutes, the Assassin. They have headbutt abilities, which I've seen do extreme damage to the head and die, because if your head takes a ton of damage,
yeah,
your head either can fall off or become shattered.
I think I told you I killed the final boss with one headbutt once, and
oh my god.
Yeah.
Did you armor trick?
No. I only had one piece of armor for every body part, and
How are you doing that much damage?
I think it was combined with Assassinate and and critical hit.
Hell.
So.
Oh my god. Both of them?
Yeah.
Combined with sneak attack?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you die. Yeah, die. Yeah. So yeah, grab weapon can actually be a savior. Because I'm pretty sure he explained a lot of enemies are gonna have really good weapons. They're gonna be like, ow, stop doing freaking 50 damage to me, dang it. Nope, your weapon's mine now. My sucker, your axe is mine. I shall chop your head off with it.
Yep.
Train our government. Wait, what? Okay. What other classes did I not mention?
I think that's all that I've gotten to.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, next we have Monk.
Oh, now these guys are interesting. And after I say my feature, you can go ahead and say whatever you would like. But these guys are interesting because they have a few abilities. Now, number one, monks are like martial artists. They are, they work really well in arms. They have the Iron Skin ability, which allows them to not only hit harder, I think it allows them to hit harder, but it also allows them to take less damage from, like, physical
Yeah.
They have the combo ability, which if you level that up fully, that will allow you to combo with your hands and your feet. So you hit up to about 4 times. Now, combine that with, let's say, sneak attack or whirlwind plus rage. Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, damage galore. They also have the takedown ability, which doesn't... I don't use it.
It doesn't
I
really...
I really don't use it a lot. But they also have Break Limb. Now, Break Limb can be fun, because if you get lucky and you get a hand that has a really good weapon, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Also, I've seen Break Limb get extremely lucky and break something's head. So, bam. Goodbye.
The other nice thing about Iron Skin is, so weapons are of course made out of different material, and depending on what material they're made of, they have a harder time going through certain pieces of armor. So if you try to use a bronze weapon on like steel, which steel is really hard, you're gonna have a lot harder time penetrating.
Or even rarer, like mithril.
Yeah.
Which, oh god, mithril's ridiculous.
Yeah, mithril and black forged steel are the two hardest materials in the game. But the higher level your Iron Skin ability is, the harder skin you'll have, and the harder time enemies will have of being able to actually hit you and attack you.
Right.
So,
Barbarian.
Now, Barbarian.
Okay. So, you remember Whirlwind and Rage and all that stuff I said earlier? Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, meet the Barbarians. These guys are, battlers to the death. They're the definition, they're Roman gladiators, I suppose. These guys have the charge ability, which I guess charges at an opponent and does ridiculous damage. They have the rage ability, which increases your strength, I think?
It doesn't increase it doesn't necessarily increase your strength, but it increases the amount of damage you're going to do with,
oh, yeah.
with weapons.
It increases the amount of damage you do, yes. Oh, weapons? Okay, that's a bummer. Okay, so then Monk Barbarian would not work at all.
For what?
Because if Rage only works for weapons, then you're taking a huge damage boost out of the equation.
Well, I mean, you can raise Rage to the point where you don't take nearly as much damage from things, because the higher you raise Rage, the less damage penalty you're going to have, but the more damage you'll actually do in exchange.
No. What I meant is, you said it doesn't increase your strength, but it increases the damage you do with weapons. And if that's the case, a Monk Barbarian is not going to work at all. Because you're taking a damage boost out of the equation, and that's not good.
Rage. I didn't mean to say it that way. I think Rage increases your raw physical damage.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. Then that would work.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Monk Barbarian can be interesting because
yes.
Because
of Whirlwind and combo. Oh.
And you have the potential to attack more than you would otherwise, even if you were using two weapons with the Whirlwind ability, because you have a chance to attack 4 times with monks.
About maybe like 8, maybe more times. Plus Rage. Ugh. Doesn't Whirlwind like target everyone? Oh. Yeah, that's gonna freaking slap.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I want to try that out now. After I finish this. No, actually, I don't care about this stupid Ratkins, since I got a Goblin last time.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that. Not good. Not good.
Assassin.
Especially since it was a Goblin Shaman. It's
No.
Ooh.
Now,
those are barbarians.
We have one of my favorite.
Now these guys. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, don't do a assassin as a first job because it's not going to work out too well.
No.
What you want to do,
by the way,
is go on.
Before I go any further, something you elaborated on. The job order is important because you don't want to be something like, if you were, for example, a fighter mage, which I don't know why you would want to be a fighter mage, but let's use that.
Ew, fighter mage, disgusting.
Yeah, but let's use fighter mage as an example. Fighter, if you choose fighter as your first class, you're gonna get all of the skills they would have access to, including the weapon and armor skills, which in order to use the associated weapon you need the associated skill, otherwise you're not going to be able to use it. So if you choose fighter as your first job, you'll get all of the weapon and armor skills associated with it. However, if you chose to go something like mage fighter or assassin fighter instead of fighter assassin, you wouldn't. The only skill I believe would carry over to fighter is the flurry ability. You wouldn't get the rest of the weapon skills, or be able to use nearly as much armor as you would, because fighters can use every piece of armor in the game. So you want to keep job order in mind. And as I stated before, physical and magic jobs don't tend to go well together, because if you went fighter mage, while you would have all of the spells the mage would, you're not going to get as many magic points when you level up as you would if you had mage as your first class. You're going to get far more HP than you are magic points. So job order is important in this game, and it's definitely something to keep in mind. So you want to choose wisely.
Yes, which is why I offer recommendations for when you get stuff and you're like, I don't even know what to do with it. Make sure you choose carefully, because what you choose can be the impact of what that character gets. Now that's why I say assassin as a first job isn't that great. Assassin as a secondary with almost anything wrecks. Mm-hmm. Because I'm pretty sure he talked about the sneak attack ability at least a little bit with the thief. But in case he didn't, did you? Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
In case you didn't, the sneak attack ability is basically allows you to use the hide technique, and with a weapon or with your fist when you attack, or use flurry if you're using a fighter, or use whirlwind, or use whatever it may be, the sneak attack level will impact how much extra damage you will do. And if your sneak attack level is at 5 and you have a really great weapon, you will do a ton of damage to things.
And not only that, but
it's really great.
But assassins also have the ability to critical hit, which will do even more damage. Combined with sneak attack, and then
plus assassinate.
And assassinate will work if you have something that you can grapple. If you have a brawler in your party, or assassinate will also work if you have something like a paralyzed scroll, or sleeping characters can also be assassinated. with the assassinate
Makes
ability.
sense. So yeah, assassins, great secondary. Make sure that you have a physical job as your first, because don't be like me who used a necro assassin. I mean, I don't know what happened to that game. I think I started over, but he was actually doing okay. He was doing pretty great damage because I gave him both the twins, and yeah.
In my mind,
right, but
if you use assassin as a secondary job, you might as well not play as an assassin, because you're not going to nearly. Or if you use assassin as a first job,
you mean primary? Yeah.
But oh, I was gonna say something and I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I was gonna say assassin goes really well with a lot of first jobs. So some good combinations are fighter assassin, brawler assassin, barbarian assassin, ranger assassin,
monk assassin, ranger
adventurer
assassin,
assassin.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that wrecks. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Almost any physical job is assassin makes a good secondary job for.
Paladin.
Okay.
Okay. My most favoritist, most awesome, the best class in the entire game. No.
I think he's being sarcastic.
These guys suck. And I'm gonna tell you why. So, Paladins have the heal ability. You're like, oh, okay, I guess that's kind of cool. I mean, yeah, you can heal people. No. Heal can only go up to level 3 out of 5. They also have the smite ability. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. They can smite people. Nope. It only does minimal damage, and it enchants your weapon with the holy element, which is kind of pointless and doesn't help you at all. So does the equivalent of Jack Crap.
Yep.
And then one last ability, they have the protect ability, and you're probably thinking, oh well, he can protect people. I mean, I guess that's kind of cool. What if I have a character that needs protecting, and you know, while he does his work, and I want somebody that will take the damage for them. Well, here's the problem with that. The protect ability, number 1, does allow the character the paladin is protecting to take less damage. However, the paladin will take more damage as a result. And the higher you level it up, you're probably thinking, oh, I'm leveling it up, he's probably going to take less damage, I'm going to take less damage. Win-win, right? Nope. You take more damage the more you level it up. So, and he takes less. So if you want to, like, commit holy noble, go to sleep forever on your own accord, then yeah, use protect at level 5 and protect something else. Now this might be okay for things like fairies, but seriously, if you have a paladin in your party, I mean, come on, man. The paladin's gonna die eventually, and then what? Normal protect, and then boom, both of you die. You see why paladins suck now?
The other problem with paladins is protect does not work against magic.
Oh, I forgot to point that out.
So
let's say, okay, let's put it in perspective for you, right? Let's say you have a paladin and a character. Your character's like, oh, I'm gonna kill him. I just need you to protect me. The paladin says, oh, of course. I bring the light to you, and I will protect you with my life and other bullcrap. So he protects you, and a necro comes out the side and says, Nope. Ice blast to the chest. Goodbye. That's how it works. Necros run stuff around here. Paladins wipe the ground they walk on. That's how things work. Shout out to the person who made that quote, by the way, because that was awesome. So yeah. I kind of had to go on that little bit of a tangent with Paladins, because I seriously hate these guys. I hate these guys more than fortune tellers. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Even Paladin Assassin is not that good. Paladin Assassin is not good.
That's the other thing, too, is I can't really think of a good second job for Paladins, because...
No! There's no second job for Paladins that's good enough. No second job even comes close to with Paladin. Now, that's the thing. With every other class, you at least have... Like, if I got a fortune teller, I'd probably restart. But if I had no other choice, I'd probably make him like a fortune teller... like a... I don't know, I'd have to think about that. But I'm pretty sure I'd find something. If I had a mage, I really don't like mages, but I'd figure out something. If I had a wanderer, I'd probably figure out something there. But if I had a paladin, I can't figure out anything that would go good with a paladin. Like, there's nothing that will go good with a paladin.
No.
Like, nothing at all. Which is why these guys are extreme deadweight, and they suck. So, yeah. Paladin
okay,
sucks,
perhaps...
And Paladin sucks.
Yeah.
Fighter.
Okay, and then we're back to fighter. Now, there are two other jobs that humans cannot...
Oh, yeah.
Humans don't have access to. One of them is the trickster. And
one of them, actually, I don't know why humans don't have access to it.
What?
One of the jobs, I don't know why humans don't have access. I don't see why humans can't play as them.
Oh, yeah.
I think you know which one I'm talking about, but the one you have not talked about yet.
Yeah. So tricksters have a charm ability, which, okay, to be honest, if I was charming things, I would rather have a bard in my party, because bards can do area charm.
Yeah, same. Oh yeah, yeah.
And tricksters can only charm one thing at a time. They have the summon animal ability, which I've already discussed. It's the same ability, or it's the same spell that druids get. And then they have Fellimorph, which will turn something into something else.
I find that that's not really helpful because they keep their same stats.
Yeah. There's an interesting bug. There used to be an interesting bug with Fellimorph, which I don't know if I've told you about, but I'll tell you that after we get done with recording. I don't know if it works anymore, but...
Is it with the new animal species, or...
No.
Not that?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So... And then the other one... so that's what tricksters get, and they also have the hide ability, but the hide ability does nothing for them other than...
That does not allow them to do sneak attack.
Yeah.
They just hide because they feel like hiding.
Yale left channel media.
Yeah.
Yale left channel media. Yale has logged out. Yale has logged out.
This last job I'll go ahead and cover really quick.
Yeah.
I actually think these guys are not bad. I actually kind of like this job, and I wish more races could play as this, because these guys are not that bad. Now, of course, what I'm referring to is the Shaman. Now, Shamans they're like they have the same ability that Druids get. They have lightning. They also have heal, and unlike the stupid, disgusting, disgraceful, worthless Paladin, they can actually level it up to 5. They also have shrink, which can be useful in a little bit of a pinchy situation. I appreciate that. And they also have animal form, which transforms them to an animal. I don't know why you'd want to do that.
It's always a feral bear, which...
Oh, yes. Yes.
It would be cool if it could be
cool if it could be
things.
like an ambusher snake or a corpse web spider.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sick. A corpse web spider with weapons and magic. Imagine if your lightning could point. Oh my god. Do you know how sick that would be? If you had animal form as a corpse web spider and your lightning could poison?
Yeah. You know what I want to do? I want to try getting myself reincarnated as a corpse web spider and already be like a barbarian assassin or a fighter assassin. Because with barbarian assassin I could whirlwind and just poison everything.
Poison every. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a good slap. Let me know if that actually works for you or not, because I would actually be interested. And they also have the curse ability. Now, I don't know too much about this ability because I was told that it's kind of broken. It doesn't work the way it should. But I see it as having some pretty good potential, to be honest with you.
I think curse is broken. I don't think it works. I don't think it works as intended, and I didn't really understand the exact mechanics of how it's supposed to work. It wasn't documented very well. It says something about being able to do the maximum amount of damage to your enemies you can, but if that were true, then I mean,
then Shaman would be the most OP thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, which is why I don't think that was the intention.
Imagine if you cursed like all your enemies and then BAP! Lightning. Oh.
Yeah.
Imagine if you cursed a lich and then boop! Goodbye.
Yeah.
Someone needs to bring that back. Because Shaman would be the most... Oh, Shaman would be super OP.
Yeah. So those are all of the jobs and races, and...
Yup.
I'll tell you guys...
officially went through...
I'll tell you guys what...
races and jobs.
Since this part has gone on for so long, I think the next part is gonna actually be me starting the game, because I don't want to make this overly long to where people have to listen to all this in order to actually get gameplay content. So Blind Gamer, if you still have time, we can start the actual game now.
Seth Gamer on iPhone SE left channel root. Seth Gamer on iPhone SE left channel root. Seth Gamer on iPhone SE has logged out. Seth Gamer on iPhone SE has logged out.
Okay. First, I'm gonna actually stop this recording.
Finder Chris's server slash
and
Finder Chris's server Manaman 2 or time off studio settings exit click button.
When we come back, we'll actually
cut button. Fade to black. Audio mix. Volumes. Mute desk. Properties.
Yeah, we'll actually play the game
mute
properly
volumes,
because... Oh my gosh, we've been doing this for like a
scene
while.
transitions. Durations. Control. Stop recording. Checkbox.
Yeah.
So much
Stop recording.
clock over
Yes button.
here.
No button. Yes button.
Yeah. So I'll be back.
Yep.
See you guys in next part.